Happy Friday, everybody. How's it going? Let's see who we got here. Whew, it's hot. Hot, hot, hot. Hey, Lisa Clovey, good to see you. Thanks for being here as always. Holman's Homestead, hey there. Thanks for being here. Hope you guys are doing well. Hey, Gwen, Bro Cowgirl, good to see you and hope you're doing well. Hey, Alicia, Strange Reality, good to see you. Hope you're doing good. Gwen just got done with a fajita supper and she's stuffed. We had pizza. It was like 91 today. Not my favorite temperature. So, but you know, you got to take it. But boy, I tell you, the garden sucked up water. Yeah, the pizza was good. So, pizza was real good. We got it in town. It was just a hot day. And ugh, 86 by Gwen. I don't know what it is now. I mean, compared to the rest of you guys, like, I shouldn't complain, but I just don't do well above 90. It's 84 now, but then we're going to be 85 tomorrow, but then we'll be 70 and in the 60s and then 70s, 80s, 70s. So not too bad, but a few days of heat was a week. Hey, Heather, Milk and Honey Heritage Farms, good to see you. Yeah, I wilt in any heat. I mean, above 80, I'm not happy, but 90, I'm not doing much outside. I can tell you that. It's too hot. I get dizzy and stuff, so I just learned not to bother with it. You know, I do chores and hose the pigs down, but I don't spend a lot of time outside. And we don't have AC, but it's cooler in the house. So So what are you guys up to? I can't even imagine what 90 with no humidity would feel like. That is true. That is true. It does feel a heck of a lot better than 90 with, 90% humidity. I think our humidity was 15%. So, hey, Nancy, our treasured home. Good to see you. Nancy's been working on making videos. Broke Cowgirl's working on this chest of drawers. That's cool. Yeah, we butchered our meat chickens and we did them all at once, and we're super, super grateful that they are done. We'll move the pheasants out tomorrow, so I'll have videos. I didn't video the whole process because, quite honestly, it's a lot for two people, and we were blessed to have a third. So I really didn't take any video, but we've done it before, so I can always refer people to that. But we were pretty happy with the harvest overall. And then I will be glad when the pheasants go out and the turkeys. So Holman's mowed hay, welded the mowing machine back to get it done. Good. And I hope that it stays dry for you for a while so that way your hay can dry up. I know it takes a while from cut to bale. Gwen says 83% humidity here, says it feels like 89. Ooh, that's hot. Heather said we got rain today and tomorrow, which is good. We're in a severe drought, mild fall, winter, spring. Yep, I hear ya. Heather got her garden arches up and rebar pounded in to make them sturdy. That's good. Hey, Craig, good to see you and Debbie. Hope you guys are doing well, staying cool. So I'm trying to think what else. Yeah, just the gardens are enjoying the heat, and the shade cloth has been doing wonders over the broccoli, cauliflower, cabbages, Brussels sprouts, all that. So, oh, excuse me. Glad that we did that. It is a hot one. Gary's been mowing pastures in Texas, and Heather started harvesting raspberries. Awesome. 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 Let's see what else. I'm just looking for my notes. There we go. Um, yeah, it's going to be extremely hot across most of the country, and high humidity across most of the country. So make sure you're being safe, drinking water, all that. I guess we're not going to have the high humidity, but oh, excuse me. But definitely going to be hot temps, I guess, through Sunday or through tomorrow, and then we'll get better. So we'll see. I know middle part of central part of South Dakota was having some real hot temps over 100, and that's kind of brutal. That's kind of brutal. How are my socks coming along? They're doing well. I'm just moving really slow. I went fiber group is now twice a month, so I worked on them this past Wednesday, and honestly, I haven't had a chance to pick them up since, because between the butchering Tuesday, Wednesday, and preparation on Monday, and then getting ready for some deliveries today we had here, I haven't had a chance to work on them. So they're coming along good, just slow, taking my time, no rush, but they're doing good. Sometimes when it gets really hot, I don't want to touch yarn. I know that sounds weird, but it's too hot. This is what happens when it gets hot out. So I wanted to talk a little bit tonight about being a good steward to the land, um, and what that means. You know what I mean? Hey, Holmans, you got replanted beans this evening. Look like poured boiling water on them. Yesterday it rained, then the sun came out strong, then rain, and then sun all day. Oh, geez. Well, I'm sorry to hear that. I'm really glad that you were able to replant them and it's not like lost. You know what I mean? You have the time to replant them. Yeah, it was a busy week. It was a good busy week, but it was a busy week. So Craig said setting up auto irrigation system on the new gardens. Oh, exciting. Very exciting. And Gwen, I would have loved to have taken a nap today, but I didn't. The guys were delivering some furniture today, and because we had no choice, but we had to get a new couch. And they called and said they were coming, and I was just starting to nod off. I was like, dang it. But that's all right. We needed to get that done. It's a shame. The one we bought 5 years ago was a piece of garbage, and I hate that. But um, so back to being a good steward of the land. So that means taking responsibility for the care and well-being of the natural environment. Why do you think that's important? Or I want to hear what you guys think about that and why you think that's important for all of us, for homesteaders. Um, my Eggman came at 1:45 and I came right in and laid down. Good for you. I've been getting texts all afternoon about eggs. It's been nonstop. That's good though, Gwen. I'm glad you did. um, so obviously, what does that entail? Respect for the land, sustainable practices, conservation, restoration, education and awareness, and individual responsibility. Those are the fancy lingo they put to it. Exactly, Nancy. That's how I see it. Taking care of the land so it can take care of you by providing what you need. That's how I look at it. If you take care of the land's going to take care of you. That's one of the things we've struggled with when it comes to grazing the pigs because of the dryness that we've had and the erosion and so on. So we're trying to come up with different ways to be able to rotate them to be more efficient and less harmful to the land. Because even though we thought we were doing the right thing or thought we were doing what was in the best interest, it wasn't. And or conditions changed and it didn't go well. Heather said we don't use any chemical compost because we raise beef, bees, and chicken. I think it helps all to be healthier. Yep. Gwen says, hence why Gary is mowing pastures. Yep. Holman's Homestead said exactly. Yeah, for sure. So you got to take care of these things. So I know one of the things that Halbert Farm learned when they had severe drought in their area of Texas 3 years ago now. I think I was there 2 years ago, so it's 3 years ago. They had drought and they had someone come in and assess the situation, and they told them to do a sacrifice pasture. So they have a sacrifice pasture when in drought, which is where the cows stay, and they feed them hay. I don't have all the details. I'm just telling you what I know. But that would protect the rest of the pastures. So we are kind of trying that this year and letting the pigs out. We want to let them out daily. We're letting the grass grow up taller, which Holman's Homestead did a great video on goats today that I thought was amazing. And so we've actually been letting our grass grow taller for similar reasons to what they said about goats. Even though we don't have goats, we have pigs. But what we did was let it grow more, and we're going to actually cut their time shorter in different places to make sure that we don't overgraze. So I think that can be really helpful. And so they're winter pens where they don't need the grass because they get fed hay there. We are going to return them to those areas each night, so that way they go back to that area, and then that way it'll be a lot less brutal on the rest of the land. So make sure you check out Holman's Homestead's video on the goats they put out today. Worst drought we have had here was in 2011. We sold 85 head of cows and kept 40. Still lost 10 to getting stuck in the mud in the tanks. It was then I said, never again will we have this many. So now we keep it to lower numbers so that even in drought years, there is plenty of grass. Smart. That's a really good way of looking at it. I like that. Heather said, yes, rotation and reduces parasite load. Yes, it does. Unfortunately, that's where we struggle. We don't have the land to do adequate rotation. We do the best we can, but we also deworm fairly often. And knock on wood, it's worked well for us. What are some here's another way, actually. Let me say this. Let me just go back to one of these things here. Hold on. I hate when the phone locks up and I got to go back and unlock it. So obviously respect for the land, sustainable practices, conservation. protecting natural resources and habitats from degradation and loss. Well, for us, that's our water too. That applies to our water, is making sure that we are conserving our water, but at the same time getting what we need out of it. So it's like not abusing a resource that's there, to make sure that it is there when we need it. So that's really important for us. And one of the other things that I've done is compost some of their bedding on areas that have eroded, and I've composted it in place, so to speak. And it's taken several years, but we're finally at a place where in the girls' pasture, it is composting in place, and it's built up the soil. Whereas before it was like this, now it's like that. So it's a lot better. Gwen said, we were hauling 2,100 gallons of water a day for months, and they drank it as fast as we dumped it in the water troughs. It was so sad. Oh, so much water. Where did you get the water, Gwen? Kind of curious. Did you get that from your home well, or did you go haul water? I mean, obviously you hauled it there. I know that. But that's a lot of water each day. Wow, from your well at the house. Wow. That's a lot of water. A lot of water. Yeah, we've started hauling and collecting if it rains, obviously, for the gardens. And then for the pigs, we've been hauling that. We've collected rain for the past month or so, but hauling water from a local resource this weekend. And it worked out because the pigs needed their pools today. You know, if it's like 80 or 85, I can get away with hosing them down, but they got hosed down a bunch today and they got their pools. So lots of water. We were on a list to have a well drilled. Finally, mid-July, they showed up and got it done. Then it was just fire up the generator and fill the tanks. Nice. Nice. That's a lot of water. Whew. Lots of water. And it always amazes me how when you see water in a tank, how much is in there versus when you just turn on a hose, right? Gives you a whole different perspective of how much water you're using when you could look at the gallons, or you can look at how big the tank is and how much water is in there and how heavy it is. You totally have a different perspective, you know? Yeah, that is a lot of land. That's awesome. That's awesome. So, what are some of the ways that you are a good steward to your land? Um, I can read a couple other things what they said. Examples are soil health, water conservation, biodiversity, waste reduction, energy conservation, and community involvement. Yep, you got family on your land. That's right. That's awesome. So I'd say we are doing ecological integrity, human well-being. I'm sorry, I'm looking at the wrong spot. Definitely doing soil health and trying to do better at soil health outside the garden. That's a work in progress. Biodiversity, we don't use pesticides or herbicides. Waste reduction, I think we do a good job of reducing waste and composting. Energy conservation, I think we do a good job on that because we've always done that. Could we improve? Sure. Winter heat is a big one. We have tanks and ponds that catch rainwater for the cows, but that year they went dry. Only time that's happened. Yeah, I bet. Heather says we don't do garbage service. We have garbage cans to separate glass cans, etc. Go to the dump every 6 weeks. Costs only $21. That's great. That's awesome. Winter heat is firewood over by Gwen at Broke Cowgirl and Holman's Homestead. Ours is pellets, but I still think we use it a lot. Like it's definitely, it runs more months of the year than not, given our climate. So I'd like to say we could do better, but the reality of it is we are pretty thrifty and keep the thermostat low. So it's not like we're walking around in shorts in the winter. You guys see me all the time. I'm walking around in a hoodie and jeans. So it's not like I walk around in shorts. And I know Holman's Homestead, like they're doing hay like Gwen does. And so they're practicing different sustainability methods, right, to get that hay. We have a wood stove in the shop, not the house yet, but I try not to use the heat in low. Yep, we have a wood stove in the garage, but we have a pellet stove here. That's our heat, because otherwise it's electric and it's just. Yeah, some of the winters have been colder than normal for you. That's right. I love wearing a hoodie and jeans. It's just comfortable. It's comfortable, it's snug, it's warm. Heather says, I drive a 1993 Chevy. You have to put windows down to reach out and open doors versus another payment. Yes. Yes. Ryan has a 1992 Dodge diesel. I think it's a W250. That's our water truck. And then we have a 2000 and something, 2014 Chevy Silverado and bare bones, and that's been paid off for a long time. So that's a whole other story. We didn't make most of the payments on it, so that was a good deal. Tailgate doesn't open either. That's funny. Gwen says we haven't bought one new vehicle in our 40 plus years of marriage. Yeah, well, when you got somebody who can work on it, that's what's great about it. That's what's great about it. Absolutely. You make it work, Heather, right? Tailgate doesn't open and you make it work. That's what we do. You make it work. Let's see what else. I'm gonna look. Stupid thing keeps locking on me. Sorry. So energy conservation was a lot of what we were talking about. I'm a huge bargain thrift free shopper. Yes, you are, Heather. I love it. We love that too. She got her arches, paver stones free. Good for you. That's awesome. I love thrift shopping, but for me to go thrift shopping, I got to go to Rapid City, and I don't want to. I don't want to. I'm staying in town. Staying in town. A friend of mine posted pictures of darning eggs today and made the comment that no one mends socks these days, which is true. I'm a thrift store shopper for clothes and other things too. Absolutely. Absolutely. The only time I've seen people mending or darning socks is I remember my mom used to do it all the time, but um I've seen people darn hand knitted socks, like because they wore a hole in the heel. But I know for me, by the time my socks are, and I have no problem darning socks, by the time my socks are so worn that there's a hole in them, they're so thin they won't even hold the thread. You know what I mean? You know how they get really, really thin? I wear them dingy. I don't care. I wear them. I wear them until they're gone. I hear Ryan. He's talking to Diesel. Poor Diesel. It's so hot for him too. It's just so hot. He struggles in the heat too, and he's laying on the floor where it's cool, the bare floor. I'm surprised that Spartman's not here because I bet you he had some of those crazy hot temps today. Lots of water though. I have my grandma's darning egg, but I don't remember her ever using it. The reason I use old socks to tie my tomatoes is because she used old pantyhose and I don't own those. Yeah, I don't either. That's funny. Heather wears muck boots mostly. Yeah, I wear boots most of the time. Yes, you are. You guys are thrifters, Holman's Homestead. That's awesome. I love that new chicken coop too, by the way. Before 2020, Heather was refinishing furniture and selling. That's awesome. Gwen refinishes furniture a lot. I can't wait to see her latest project. It's going to be so cool. Gwen wears her Ariats most of the time. If it's muddy, the rubber boots come out. Yes, seriously, you guys got some good stuff. I was laughing. I was watching your beans and cornbread video today, and I saw the comments that everybody said, "Ooh, I grew up on that. I love a good beans and cornbread." And I was like, I don't think I ever had beans and cornbread for a meal. And I was going to comment, but I didn't want to be rude. But I was going to say, you're a Yankee win, because that's a Southern thing, right? I love cornbread, though. It looked good. I don't own tennis shoes or sandals. The second one you got, the second one was the right way to spell it. Beans and cornbread is a Southern thing. Oh, it looks so good, though. I'm going to try Carolyn's cornbread, though. Look really good. And I've had some, I mean, we lived in North Carolina. I know it's not totally south, but we had some really good fried green tomatoes and other things that were really good. So I should try that. I mean, Carolyn had me at bacon, let's be real. She put bacon in the pot. I was like, delicious. So, what are some things that you do to try and be good stewards to your land? I know we covered a bunch of them, but are there any other ways that maybe we missed or Just curious. See, it's when it's so hot, I don't even want to talk. How bad is that? Nancy said I'm from Virginia, so North Carolina is southern. Good point. Gwen said my in ground tomatoes are almost done. The Moskvik, I have picked 2 ripe ones so far. Interesting. That was always confusing to me when people ask where I'm from. Yeah. Nancy said planting containers 1 year to give the land a break. That's a good solution. I like that idea. I like that idea. Yeah, I mean, I'm a light person, always making sure lights are off. Yes, me too. Me too. Lights, you name it, everything is off. Cover crops help the soil also. They sure do. In fact, we are looking into native grasses and cover crops to plant on other parts of the property that the pigs would like. So that is what we are looking for. If you ever see the grass when I walk towards the greenhouses, it goes from a regular type of grass to this very bright, weird green growth, and it doesn't get really tall. Well, it's actually like it's a whole area of yarrow, a huge area of wild yarrow, and it doesn't get super tall. The pigs love it. The chickens love it too. And but because it's yarrow, it grows up, runs its cycle, and then dies off. So we really need to have more growth amongst it. You know, it's not that the yarrow is bad, it's just that then the rest of the year we have dirt. And so trying to find a little balance there with it. I add to my soil every year composted goat manure and hay and chicken manure, along with what makes it into the compost bin. That's awesome. Have a good night, Homan's Homestead. Take care of Mom. Hope everyone has a good weekend. Stay cool. Good night. Thanks for being here. In our cow pastures, we drag it during the winter because the cow pies add up around the hay rings. Heck yeah. Heck yeah. Yeah, it is really cool, Nancy. It's really cool. The pigs like to eat it. But it's almost like this very lush carpeted area. And if I can get a picture of it, I'll post it on our community page. But it's literally like a carpet of yarrow. Heather said, I had ground cover on the garden for 2 years, so pulled it off. So it was like 75% unused area. Does that work? I would say so because usually you put the cover crop in and then you pull the cover crop out and then you use it because it replenished the soil. That's my understanding of a cover crop is you plant it and it keeps the moisture in, keeps the microbes happy and all that stuff. But I know people pull it off and then plant their gardens in there. And it's supposed to be good for the gardens. Right? Unfortunately, I've not been able to. I'm not able to plant a cover crop on our gardens because by the time we pull the gardens, we're having frost and nothing will grow. Let me look here. Maybe I misunderstood. Oh, okay. Holman's was talking more about cover crops on a larger scale for the pastures versus a garden, so to speak. Nice. Added tons of compost we made. That's awesome. You plant crimson clover. That's awesome. Yeah, we have to. I looked into it and it's just, I can do it in the other parts, but it's hard to reach with water. And that's what happens is the seeds dry out because we don't. You can do beets, radishes, all kinds of stuff. You use as cover crop thing as you tarp it or cut it and drop it before it goes to seed. Yep. Makes sense. I want to do clover. I would like to try clover. Oh, I dropped something. Sorry. A bobbin. It was on my table. I know I see when people are doing their deer plots, they do a lot of that where they do beets, radishes, and so on. Thanks, Lisa Calovi. Don't forget to hit the thumbs up, y'all. All right, guys, I think I'm going to get going. It is hot in here because I got the door closed and I am like fading fast because it's hot in here. So, and it's still too hot out to open windows, but I'm going to, I thought it was a good topic to talk about. So, if you guys have any ideas for other topics, leave a comment down below the live after and let me know. Because I'd love to talk about it, but it's just really, really hot in here. I got the fan going, but with the door closed, it is stuffy. So thanks for being here as always, you guys. I hope you have a wonderful weekend. Stay cool, stay safe, stay hydrated, all that jazz, and stay out of trouble. We are doing Tuesday. We're doing it on Mountain Grandma's channel because I had to cancel on her this week. So yes, we will be on Mountain Grandma's channel on Tuesday for the 7F Live. So we will see you then. And then in the meanwhile, once the heat passes, I will get a couple of videos out so you guys can hear about everything that's going on. So have a good weekend, guys. Thanks again for being here. Take care. And I'm sorry, I am just hot. Take care. Bye.